Hey guys, welcome back to My Anime Heroes Customs, a weekday release for you guys with a quick project from a character I'm unfamiliar with, Elizabeth from Vivy Flourite Ice Song. I love taking on projects like these as it helps me think outside of the box. Hope you guys enjoy. She'll be the 103rd commission project. Stay tuned for Adult Konohamaru this weekend. We have our first Patron. Names of patrons will be included at the end of every video as a thank you for their support on this channel. Check out link in description box if you want to support me on Patreon. Cheers! Let's get started! For our materials, we're using the Figma 465 Bikini Armor Makoto and shfiguarts 3D printed Elizabeth headsculpt. My client specifically requested that we use this Figma 465 base for the Elizabeth custom. And we also had an Elizabeth head sculpt 3D printed by shfiguarts. If you want to order 3D printed head sculpts, you can check out his link in the description box below. Each project is very unique, so it will highly depend on the client's requests and wishes. So this client particularly wanted the Figma 465, so this is a brand new one. This came all the way from Japan and it's brand new and sealed, and I think it looks really great for this Elizabeth custom that we are doing. Taking off the Figma head, we shall see the proportion and the scale of the 3D printed head sculpt. Right now it looks okay, but I'm having doubts with the scale, but we shall see as we move forward with the project. First thing to do is we shall spray a primer gray on the head sculpt so that we can see the face, the details, and what we need to clean up. Now that the primer gray is dry, we can see the face details more clearly, and I really love this head sculpt. What I'm gonna do is separate that ponytail at the back and make it articulated. So we're gonna add a peg at the back. We'll drill some holes before we paint this and clean this up and get it ready for the skin tone flesh to match our body. While the 3D printed head sculpt is drying, I'm looking at the work that needs to be done on our base body. And looking at the head sculpt, I think it would be such a waste for us not to use this. I mean, look at that sculpting, the hair, the swappable face plates. I think we should just incorporate it into our build. So what I'm gonna do is remove the head sculpt. So I decided to use the Figma head sculpt and turn it into an interchangeable Elizabeth head sculpt. So we just need to do a little bit of sculpting into the front bangs of the Figma, add side bangs on it, and recolor it completely. Here's a peg of the face of Elizabeth, and I think this will really work, especially with the face sculpts that we have with the Figma, the angry one and the neutral one. So I'm going to be using this. Continuing with the body, I removed the red scarf. I'm gonna be shaving off this bikini top, removing that top strap, recoloring the bikini, maybe replacing the forearm so it's continuous flesh skin tone, and doing some work on the legs also, removing that armor piece and replacing the feet with these extra, I think this is a Figma snake eyes, Figma snake feet that I have. So let's do that. Looking at the additional sculpting that I made for the front bangs of the Figma's Figma head sculpt, I used my epoxy sculpt to add some side bangs. Once everything was dry, I sprayed a white base to the head sculpt so that we can prepare it for the coloring of the hair. So look at this, the Figma style head sculpt that I did. It looks good and it works on the Figma faceplate, and we shall take a look at the 3D printed Elizabeth head sculpt with the skin tone added and eye base, and I added that peg for the articulated ponytail. Now I will use this particular color on the hair. This is called Bosco Blue by Zerk Paints, but I will definitely mix it with this teal color of Zerk Paints. I'll mix them and airbrush it onto the hair. Now that the paint is dry, let's look at the 3D printed head sculpt with the details and the face. I think we've achieved the hair color and I've added details to the eyes, and I think it looks really good. For the leg work, I shaved off the silver armor and painted it black, and I also painted the Figma snake feet black. Now we can start making the clothing. So I made some pants. This is khaki color, and I used this template right here and this fabric right here. I cut 2 pieces and I sewed it together, and now fitting it onto the body. This is a little bit oversized, but that's okay. It's better to adjust it into a smaller size. I'll have it fit on her waist and roll up the pants up to the knees. That will make up her boots. So I will just need to finalize my measurements and the fit, and I think this will look really good with the articulation of this Figma body. Moving forward, I'm making this blue-green jacket top with this template and this blue-green spandex cotton, and I've cut 3 pieces and sewed each one to the side, and once you flip it over, cut it into the center, and now you have a big opening coat-like jacket style. And fitting it onto the body, again, it's oversized. It's better to cut and slim down than to add fabric. Now we have a rough shape of all the clothing. I'll just need to finalize my measurements and my edges, and we'll have the clothing almost done. As you saw earlier, I had the forearms on a black peg first because I just had to fit it onto the body so I could start making the clothing. But now I have these Figma archetype she replacements of the forearm that is just perfect with the skin tone, so now it's consistent. Looking at the bikini top, I've shaved off the strap and colored it into a purple. The pants now is fixed onto the knees. Let's now take a look at the finished blue-green trench coat or jacket. I've added pockets for details into the front side of the jacket, and I've added cuffs on the edge of the sleeves. I've adjusted the measurements for the top to make it slimmer and more fit to the skinny arms of this body, and I've added wires in front of the opening of the jacket so that it's a little bit posable and it has a flow on the jacket. So I've slimmed it down. I've made it fit to the Figma 465 body. With that being said, let's take a look at the 3D printed head sculpt. Unfortunately, with the adjustment of the clothing to the body, the head sculpt now seems very unproportionate and out of scale in reference to the body. Just take a look at that. I think it's a tad bit too big. But don't worry, I managed to fix the Figma head sculpt, and I've already talked to the client. I will still be sending him this head sculpt. He might be able to use it in his other figures. But with this body, in this particular body, we will be using the exact same head sculpt that came with it, which is the interchangeable faceplate ones. And the last thing that I'm gonna show you is the requested weapon, which is a dagger. So I'm using a high-grade Gundam weapon, and it's a Lego dagger. I'll be merging these two to create the dagger or blade that Elizabeth uses in her fight with Vivy. Elizabeth custom is done. Let's see the full figure. Ta-da! Finally, Elizabeth is done. I apologize for the band-aid on my right thumb. I actually accidentally cut myself while doing some other customs, but all is well. I'm all good. Let's look at the figure. This came out really well with the Figma head sculpt that came with the body. Again, looking at the side-by-side head sculpt with the 3D printed head, it's a little bit too big, but I will still send it to our client so that he can use it on another figure. But looking at this one, I'm still very happy how this custom came out. Elizabeth being an artificial intelligence machine with the Figma body, I think the articulations are maxed out and he has great range of motions. Taking a look at the alternate faceplate, this one is a bit of an angry look. Works just like a regular Figma. Remove the front bangs and you can swap out the faceplates and put it back, and bam! I love this look. I think it matches really well with her angsty attitude. And for some accessories, we have some interchangeable hands and the dagger that I sculpted with the Lego and the Gundam sword, and it looks like this. You just need to swap it out. and it looks just like that, and I think she looks badass with this dagger. Another feature of this costume is that we can completely remove the blue-green trench coat. With the jacket being removable, we can see her top with just the bikini on, and you can see that I've added a dog tag accessory because Elizabeth wears one just like that. And there we go. Now you can achieve a lot of poses for her. So what are we waiting for? I hope you enjoy this. Let's jump straight to action poses.
Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH, country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? Or just breathing? Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH, country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? Flashing red lights, driving at night, windowless ride, feeling alive. Nothing in sight, forever in flight. Follow those lines, we'll make it this time. Blurry street lights, work as a guide to memories that we're making tonight. Oh yeah, we'll make it tonight. Yeah.